They laughed at Thomas Edison when he failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. They called Walt Disney a failure after he was fired for lacking imagination. Michael Jordan, he was cut from his high school basketball team. But guess what? These so-called failures became legends. Failure isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the raw material that builds success. If you've ever failed and felt like giving up, don't. Because what if failure is actually the key to your breakthrough? Stay with me till the end, and I'll show you why failure isn't your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Failure is a scary word. Nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to experience setbacks, disappointments, or feel like they're not good enough. But here's the truth. Failure is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. Every success story begins with failure. Every great person you admire today was once a beginner who struggled, fell, and made mistakes. The only difference between them and those who quit? They refuse to let failure stop them. If you are struggling right now, if you feel like giving up, if you think success is impossible for you, listen closely. You are not failing. You are learning. And if you keep going, one day you'll look back and realize that every failure was leading you to success. Look at Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before finally inventing the light bulb. Imagine trying something 100 times, then 200, then 500, and still not getting it right. Most people would have given up. But Edison didn't see failure as defeat. He saw it as progress. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found ways that won't work." Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. Can you imagine? The man who would go on to win 6 NBA championships was once told he wasn't good enough. He could have quit. He could have believed them, but instead he trained harder than ever before. He used failure as fuel. That's why he later said, "I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Walt Disney, the man behind Mickey Mouse in Disneyland, was fired from his first job because his boss said he lacked imagination. The man who built an empire of creativity and dreams was once told he wasn't creative enough. But he didn't stop. He kept working, kept failing, kept learning, until one day, the whole world knew his name. J.K. Rowling, the woman who created Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers before one finally gave her a chance. 12 times people told her she wasn't good enough. 12 times she could have given up, but she didn't. Today, her books have sold over 500 million copies and changed millions of lives. So why do we treat failure like it's the end? The truth is, most people don't actually fear failure. They fear what failure means. They fear looking foolish. They fear being judged. They fear disappointing themselves and others. But what if I told you that failure doesn't mean you're not good enough? It means you're trying. It means you're pushing yourself beyond your limits. It means you're learning what works and what doesn't. Without failure, there is no success. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times before they take their first step. But do they ever stop and think, maybe walking isn't for me? Do they give up and say, I guess I'll just crawl for the rest of my life? No, they get up and try again. Because they don't know that failure is supposed to be scary. And that's exactly what we need to do. The problem isn't failure, it's how we see failure. Society teaches us that failing is embarrassing, that making mistakes means we're weak. But the most successful people in the world are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who never let failure stop them. Look at any industry, any profession, any field. The best musicians, the best athletes, the best business leaders. They all failed more times than they can count. But they understood something most people don't. Failure is just a stepping stone. There's something called the 1-0-0-0-0-0-hour rule. It states that to truly master anything, you need at least 1-0-0-0-0 hours of practice. That means failure isn't just expected, it's required. The greatest musicians in the world didn't wake up one day and start playing like legends. They spent years practicing, making mistakes, getting better. The best athletes weren't born champions. They lost games, missed shots, failed over and over before they became great. The richest entrepreneurs didn't build billion-dollar companies overnight. They lost money, made wrong decisions, failed at businesses before they finally succeeded. Success is not an event, it is a process. But most people don't see the process, they only see the result. Imagine an iceberg floating in the ocean. When you see it, you only see the tip, the small part above the water. But underneath, there's a massive structure, hidden from view. Success is the same way. What people see, the achievements, the fame, the success. What they don't see, the failures, the rejections, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices. Every success story has a hidden struggle behind it. The only difference is, some people quit during the struggle, while others push through. So the question is, what will you do? Will you let failure stop you, or will you use it to grow? Most people give up too soon. They quit at the first sign of struggle. They stop after their first rejection. They don't realize that every failure is actually moving them forward. If you fail, it means you are trying. It means you are in the game. It means you are taking action while most people are sitting on the sidelines, too afraid to even start. But here's the most important part. Failure is only the end if you stop trying. If you keep going, it becomes just another step in your journey. So the next time you fail, remember this: it's not the end, it's the beginning. It's a lesson. It's proof that you are trying. It's proof that you are on the path to success. Steve Jobs was once fired from Apple, the company he founded. Think about that. Fired from his own company. But he didn't let failure define him. He kept innovating, kept learning, kept pushing forward, and years later, he came back and built Apple into one of the most valuable companies in the world. Oprah Winfrey was once told she wasn't fit for television. Now she's one of the most powerful media figures in history. Elon Musk failed multiple times with SpaceX. Rockets exploded, millions of dollars were lost, but he didn't give up. Now, SpaceX is leading the future of space travel. Do you see the pattern? The people who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who fail the most, but refuse to quit. So what about you? Will you let failure stop you? Or will you use it as fuel to keep going? Because here's the truth. Every failure brings you one step closer. Every mistake teaches you something new. Every setback is an opportunity to come back stronger. You are not failing. You are growing. You are learning. You are becoming the person who will succeed. So don't fear failure. Embrace it. Learn from it. Let it shape you into something unstoppable, because the only difference between success and failure is the decision to keep going. Failure is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater. Every time you fall, you are given a choice. Stay down or rise stronger. The people who make history, who change the world, who achieve greatness, are the ones who refuse to quit. So whatever dream you're chasing, whatever goal you're fighting for, don't stop now. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep going. Because every failure is just another step toward your success. If this video inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to Motivational Minds for more powerful motivational videos. Your journey to success starts now. Don't give up.